Hi there, welcome to Shopcast 19. This one is about Seasilk Lace, which is this gorgeous new yarn that we just have in this shop from Felicia down at Sweet, Georgia. But first, a little bit of catch up. I'm going to show you. This is the sample, and this is the Shilasdair that I was talking about last week. So you can see it's been blocked. This is what Francesca knit up, and it's got that wonderful halo across it. So this is a nice loose gauge. You can see the holes. The wonderful side about knitting things loosely like this is that they're not overwhelmingly warm, and they do actually take less yarn than if you knit something firmly. The downside is it does wind up rubbing a little bit more, and with something where there are fibers like this, it has a bit more of a chance of pilling. So kind of trade-off. Talk to us about what you're thinking about doing with this, and we might be able to give you some hints to steer you in a project in the right direction. But I've got some of the purple at home. I'm playing with it. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but it's really, really nice to knit with. Okay, this week's yarn. Oh, and the other catch-up thing. Both my giant Noro scarf and my Blackstone Tweed vest are off the needles, and they're just waiting to be blocked. A little bit of information about how I block things. I'm planning to stick it in my new front-loading washing machine, so it's just going to sit in the water and probably get tumbled a little tiny bit. I like doing that just because it fluffs up the fibers a tiny bit. I will put it in a spin cycle to spin out all the excess water, and then I'll either lay them flat to dry, or my dryer has this cool rack that just sits in the middle of the dryer and doesn't tumble. So I may set it up with that, with some cool air blowing around it just to help it dry a little bit faster, because I'm impatient like that. Normally with my sweaters, I've soaked them in sinks, or in my old front top loader washing machine, I would let it sit there and just sit and not agitate at all, because the top loaders are a little bit too rough on knitted sweaters, so wouldn't let it agitate, but just let it soak and then turn it directly onto the spin cycle to get out the excess water. And then I laid it flat to dry upstairs with a fan blowing on it, so it actually circulate pretty quickly and get all the moisture out. Usually a sweater would take a day or two if I had it up on a screen rack, or maybe 3 days with some turning if I just had it flat on a table. So there you go. Okay, exciting yarn. Here, I'll show you the basket. Hello, pretty basket from Felicia. And her studio, if you haven't been there, is just off of Main and 6th. She's got a couple, I think she's open a few days a week. You can go visit her website, which is sweetgeorgiayarns.com. You can see me reading off the screen behind the video camera. But I'll hold this up so you can admire while I read. It is 60% sea cell and 40% silk, 115 grams, 700 yards. That's awesome yardage. And it is $42. She's recommending about 7 stitches per inch using a 3.25. It is a hand wash, but I will tell you, this is an awesome kind of like spring summerish weight. I have not Felicia's yarn, but Fleece Artist, which is another company, and Handmaiden. They started using something called Seasilk a number of years ago, and I've made myself a lace top out of it. If you go on my Ravelry pages, I think it shows up there. And it's just one of my favorite things to wear. It's got amazing drape. The sheen, like, let me hold this up again, that shininess as it catches the light and sits there and shimmers, is just so pretty. And it's really, really comfortable to wear in the middle of a heat wave. So the story behind Seasilk is it is a rayon, which is taking something that's a cellulose fiber. In this case, it's mostly wood pulp with about 5% seaweed. And then they make it into a big kind of composty soup and pull fibers out of that. And then that's spun along with silk to make a really, really lovely fiber. It takes the dye wonderfully, it drapes, it hangs. It's one of the nicest lace things I've ever knit for myself, was that particular top. I'm trying to decide which color. I'm thinking, you guys can give me some feedback, either this one or this one. But since I'm going to be wearing it in the summertime, I have to kind of think of what'll look good with all my freckles when my freckles come in, when I start riding around in the sun. So, options. It is lovely. There are 11 colors. They are hanging in the new back corner that's full of lace weight yarns. You should come by and see us. We are open 7 days a week. You can find us online, 3bagsfull.ca, or come into the store. What other info? Monday through Saturday, 11 till 6, and Sundays 12 till 5. All right, we'll leave it at that. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.